Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a drugstore fall makeup bag. So this is going to be 100% fall makeup. These are some really amazing gems at the drugstore right now. And I know that when the seasons change, a lot of us do tend to switch up the staple products in our routine. So hopefully you can find a formula or a product in here that you can slide into your fall makeup bag. And I did want to be sure to include a couple different formulations of certain products just so that it can be a little bit more helpful for different skin types or different preferences. And I did make sure that everything fits into a normal sized makeup bag. It does zip, I just left it unzipped for the filming, but it will fit into your regular sized makeup bag. Let's start off with the primers because I really think a lot of you are gonna like these. I geared these towards a little bit more of a hydration based sensation just because I know it's getting a little bit more dry and you want something that's gonna keep your skin feeling nice and moisturized all day. So this is the one from L'Oreal. It's the Glow Lock Illuminating Primer. And what I really like about this one is it is very thick, gelatinous, it feels very substantial, but it doesn't feel drying. You get a really good amount of slip to the skin, a slight bit of illumination, but nothing overpowering, so it does not emphasize texture or bumps on the skin, and it really just feels like a super hydrating, great base to put your makeup on top of, especially if you have dry patches on the skin. This is really great for combating those. Now there is dimethicone in this one, so that does help control the oil on the skin. So although your skin will look a little bit more dewy and radiant, it's not gonna look oilier because dimethicone does help control oil on the skin. And I really like it. I think if you have a drier skin type, you could really be a big fan of this one as much as I am, especially because the strobe is nothing too intense. But if you want something that you don't feel on the skin, you will love this one from Neutrogena. It's the Radiant Primer Serum. When you're applying this, it feels much like water or a hyaluronic acid serum. So as you're blending it in, it does feel like, oh gosh, is my face flooded with product? But once it's been fully absorbed in about 30 to 60 seconds, you're left with this amazing, bouncy, plush looking skin, perfect to put makeup on top of. If you have an area that's a little bit more dry, you could always really push the serum into that area and help combat any flakiness or texture from dryness. But it's so nice, so lightweight and fluid. And if you're somebody who doesn't like the feeling of having something that's more traditional primer formulated on your skin, I think you will love this because it just gets absorbed in and it looks really beautiful. You can also use this to mix in with foundations. If you feel like the formulation's more on the thick side, you can use this to cut that and just give a little bit more blendability as well. But yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with either of these. Two types of base coverage formulations. I want to start off with a tinted moisturizer because I know most people really like that for day to day. The CoverGirl Skin Milk. This is so nice, lightweight, barely there coverage. It gives you like a light filter. It just evens out your skin tone. You can build it up. It does get a little bit more coverage if you layer it, but really nice for the person who doesn't want a ton of coverage or just wants to feel like they have a little bit more of an evened out skin tone but doesn't want the fuss of having to put on a traditional foundation. You just bam, 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 put it on with your fingers. It blends in. I will say it does tend to get a little bit more greasy throughout the hours of the day, so definitely something that you'll want to set with a powder. But if you are somebody who wants more of a traditional foundation, I am so impressed with this one, the Maybelline Dream Liquid Radiant Foundation. I did think that this was gonna be dewy, but it's actually not. On my skin type, it sets down to more of a traditional skin-like satin finish, and the longevity is incredible. That's really why I wanted to pick this one, because you can either leave it as it be, set down to that satin finish, or you can put a powder on top of it, really boost that longevity and make it look a little bit more matte. I think it's lightweight, it's got medium coverage, so it's not too much coverage to where it starts looking a little bit more makeup-y. It does look natural, and the formula is just really easy to work with. Can be applied with fingers, a brush, or a sponge, and you can't beat the wear time on this one. With concealers, I wanted to make sure to include 2 different formulas that I'm really enjoying. The first is the Milani concealer. This is the Conceal and Perfect. This is gonna be more along the lines of a traditional thicker concealer. What I really like about this one, it sets down satin, so you don't always have to powder it, but if you do lightly powder it, it becomes a little bit more budge proof, but it's one of those concealers that I would consider to be self-setting, if you will. You don't always have to feel obligated to use a powder because it does dry down, and I notice very minimal migration, very minimal breakdown and settling into lines or just general movement around the face. I don't have a big problem with that. And what I really like about this one is the coverage. The littlest bit goes the longest way, but if you really do enjoy that full coverage under eye, you can't go wrong with this one. And although it is thicker and more paste-like in formulation, it doesn't feel drying, which I think is a really big deal. It feels lightweight on your face, so you don't feel distracted by the coverage of the product. Now the other one is obviously one that I lean a little bit more towards because I do like that really dewy, radiant looking under eye most days. Some days I like, the full coverage beamed up under eye, but this one is really nice. It's the L'Oreal True Match. This is their eye cream in a concealer. It has 0.5% hyaluronic acid, so that's gonna make your skin feel a little bit more hydrated, and especially under the under eye where there tends to be a little bit more dryness. Now this does set down still pretty dewy, but it does play well with powder as well. The coverage is quite buildable. I would say you could go anywhere from light, can't detect it, to medium coverage, but definitely not for somebody who wants really, really full, substantial coverage. I think you'd prefer this one, but this one is so nice for every day or people who don't tend to wear a lot of makeup under their eyes and just want something that they can tap, tap, tap on underneath their eyes with their fingers. Definitely not the most ideal for acne coverage, but really nice for the under eyes or just a quick no makeup look. I love this powder, I know, who am I, but I really have been enjoying this powder from e.l.f., the Halo Setting Powder. Definitely so similar to the Laura Mercier Translucent Glow Powder, but I will say this has a much less apparent strobe to the powder itself, so it actually doesn't give you much of a apparent luminous sheen. Although there is luminosity to the powder, it's not anywhere as apparent as it is in some other luminous setting powders. I really like the formula of this. It's quite light, fluffy. The littlest bit goes the longest way. I really like how you have the ability to dispense the amount of powder that you want and then close it off so that your makeup bag doesn't become a mess. And really nice for those of you that just don't want to emphasize dryness or texture on your skin. It's so nice for those of you that want to set your makeup and ensure the wear time, but don't want to lose luminosity in the skin and just don't want to look like the powder is aging your skin or make it look cakey or crepey. It's phenomenal. Can't recommend this enough, and I approve this for not only the large planes of the face, but the under eyes as well. As a dry skinned person, it's good. For bronzer, I wanted to keep it short and sweet. I've been loving this one. It's from the Ulta brand, which I know is not technically drugstore, but it's in that price point in my opinion, and I really like this, and I don't think you can go wrong with it. The powder is so silky and emollient. It has the ability to really be buffed into your skin to where it looks flawless and airbrushed, and it's a pleasure to apply, and I love the shade of this one. The formula of the powder itself, though, extremely comparable to the Charlotte Tilbury one in my personal opinion, and you guys know how much I love the Charlotte Tilbury one, but I'm just impressed with this every time I apply it. It's the bronzer that I'm wearing on my skin today. Love that red undertone, and just I love how this looks good. Like, it doesn't look powdery, it doesn't look chalky, it just always looks very flawless, and obviously you can see it, but it's one of those powders that just blends away. Beautiful. Love the tone. Now for blush, I have a couple different formulas I want to share. The first one is the one I'm wearing on my cheeks today. This is just a traditional powder blush, and I personally feel powder blushes tend to be the most mask friendly. I notice the least amount of transfer. So it's the Wet n Wild Color Icon blush, and this one is in Nudist Society. You can't go wrong with it. But this shade specifically will flatter a multitude of skin tones. It's easy to work with, and guarantee you this will go with any look from barely there, no makeup to a full-blown smoky, dramatic eye. It's got a tiny bit of shimmer to it, so I like that because it gives you that juicy looking cheek. If you are more of a cream blush person, I do have two different formulas that I'm very in love with. So the first one is going to be the NYX Sweet Cheeks. This is a mousse that dries down matte, so there's very minimal transfer. When you're applying it to the cheek, it looks like it's gonna be really intense and crazy pigmented, but you will see you can layer it and build it up and get the amount of intensity that you really want from the product. But it does set down matte, which I really like because, again, less transfer, and the formula is so easy to work with because it has this moussey, whipped, light, fluffy formula, and I love it on the lips as well. This shade specifically, which is Nude Tude, looks really good as a matte liquid lip. And then the e.l.f. multi-stick. This one is so pretty. This one's in Sparkling Rose. What I like to do is just kind of stamp it onto the apple of my cheek and then blend it out with a brush, and you will see this one's much more luminous and much more dewy. It's not sticky, but you can feel it if you touch it. So it's not for everyone, but this shade specifically is really pretty. And if you are somebody that loves a really luminous, youthful, kind of cheeky, baby looking cheek, I think you'll really like this. I also feel like these shades are very like fall. They'll go with all your dramatic lips and not interfere and clash with red or dark dramatic lips. For highlight, I'm going to give it to this palette from e.l.f. because I don't think you can beat it. You get 6 different shades. I'm gonna say 5 because this one right here is not particularly face friendly in my opinion. It looks so good on the eyes though. It looks like these twinkling scattered shimmers, and I just don't like the way that looks on the skin. I think it's a little bit distracting and it doesn't look quite as natural, but the other 5 shades are amazing. What I do is I just mix them all together, and it's the highlight that I'm wearing on my face. And I like how these are more of a soft, filtered looking highlight. I feel like that's what most people are into right now. But if you do like that full beamed up base highlighter look, you can still build these up, or you can apply them wet and then you'll really get full intensity. But you can't beat this. It's so good. And like I said, this one is so pretty, just lightly tapped all over the eyelid. 2 setting spray options. So the first is gonna be for anybody who really enjoys that dewy, almost tacky, plump feeling skin, the e.l.f. Glow Mist. Now, I do think that if you like milky face mist, you will really enjoy this one. But if you have an oilier skin type, I could potentially see this being distracting for you and just make you more aware and make you feel like your skin is more oily. If you do put this on as a prep step before you go in with your makeup, it's easier to control the finish of your makeup. But if you do use this as your final set, just be prepared for the dew, for the glow. It's quite thick and substantial, but really nice if you figure out the way you like it. Definitely worth a try in my opinion. And then good old faithful Rimmel Stay Matte. It's not going to make you look more matte, but it's going to help control the oil on your face from breaking down makeup. It does prolong the longevity of all the products that you're wearing. You can sandwich it in by putting it on as your prep step and then do the final seal once everything is done. But really nice if you're someone who is concerned with your face getting progressively more oily throughout the day. This helps keep those oils at bay, and just for anyone that really wants to increase the longevity of their makeup, you can't go wrong with this one. It's got a really nice ultra fine mist as well. Like I really enjoy the mist because I feel like you get a really nice even coat of setting spray. Let's talk eyeshadows, and I'm personally like a minimalist when it comes to eyeshadow. I think it's just having hooded eyes. I don't always like to spend that much time on my eyeshadow, so if you are like that too, you will love these. The Color Strike shadows from Maybelline. They come with a little sponge tip applicator. This is the one I'm wearing on my eyes today. It's called Chase, and I just spread it all over my eyelid, blend it out. You can put a little bit of highlight on top to add a little bit more dimension, but they go on like a cream and then dry down to a powder, and they are pretty much budge proof. I oftentimes don't even use primer with these. I'll just put a little bit of concealer as my base. It lasts all day, morning until night. I'm definitely gonna pick up a few more shades of these, but totally recommend these for those of you that do like a one eyeshadow look on a daily basis. Now, if you are somebody who wants something to create different types of looks, I don't think you can go wrong with these cutesy wootsy little palettes from Revlon. This is the Mysterious palette, and I do want to say what I really like about this palette specifically, the shades are all really pretty rosy tones, which I tend to really lean for in the fall, and the formulation of these little Revlon palettes is they're pigmented, but not too pigmented. Like if you know Natasha Denona or Pat McGrath shadows, those are so pigmented that for a beginner, they can oftentimes be a little bit more difficult to work with. If this is the spectrum of eyeshadows, least pigmented being here, most pigmented being here, the Revlon shadows fall just right about here to where they're easy to blend and you don't need a ton of skill to use them. In fact, I mostly just apply all my eyeshadows with a blendy brush, and those are blendy brush approved. You could do a full look with a blendy brush and then maybe like a little pencil brush where you want more intensity. For brows, I bet you already knew this was coming, but the Revolution Soap Brows. If you really want the ability to make your brows look snatched, perky, tight, fluffy, exaggerated, all the good brow adjectives, you can do it with this, and I just really have been loving these. Yes, you can use regular soap, but this is nice if you're gonna be putting it in a makeup bag, or it keeps everything nice and tight and content, and I don't feel like it, you know, gets that much exposure to other things. So I like that it comes in a palette, but soap brows, they like, how nice do big fluffy perky brows look with a turtleneck and your little beret and just fall. Perky bushy brows, fall. For mascara, I'm gonna recommend a waterproof mascara because I don't know, is it just me or do you also have uncontrollably watery eyes during the fall and winter months? It's like once that cold air hits my eyeball, they just start pouring down water. So I pretty much exclusively wear waterproof mascara during the colder months, and I've been so impressed with this one from Milani. It's called the waterproof one. I love the formula of this, and I love the brush of it. It has a beautiful, you know, slender but cone-shaped brush that tapers toward the front so you can really get those inner and outer corner lashes. So nice for controlling the amount of product that you put on the bottom lashes as well. And the bristles are really short, they're densely packed together, and then there's little breaks in the brush itself, but just it dispenses the formulation so beautifully on your lashes. And I also like how it's a little bit more sticky and dry, so I feel like I get complete control. The formula grabs every single lash. It gives me a little bit of wispiness, a little bit of length, but it's just the perfect in the middle mascara to where it looks daytime friendly. It's not too dramatic, and I really like the effect of it. So now for lips, I wanted to recommend easy to wear formulations that aren't going to emphasize chapped lips or just make your lips feel dried out. Two of my favorite sheer formulations. This one's from e.l.f. It's the Sheer Slick in Golden Pear, I'm sorry. Really nice, juicy orange, but slightly more subtle. It's got a little bit of brown to it, so it's not a summer orange, although you could wear it in the summer. It's more of a fall appropriate, almost like a apricot tangerine type of shade, but really pretty, quite sheer as well. And then the NYX Filler Instinct lipstick in Sugar Pie. Really nice, brownie mauve. You can't go wrong with mauve in the fall. I think it's really flattering. These also do give a little bit of a tingle, so just something I wanted to throw out there. I don't necessarily know if I noticed that much plumping going on, but I really loved the finish of this. And then the Maybelline Lifter Glosses. Today I'm wearing this one, which is Topaz, and I absolutely love it. I think these are so pretty. They're so nice. They are straight up dupes for the Fenty ones. The quality is there. They smell like coconut and they feel really comforting and nourishing on lips as well. So perfect for the drier months. And they do make your lips look a lot bigger too, because they're just so wet and glass-like reflective finish, shine. They're amazing, definitely. And with all of that being said, this is it for my fall makeup drugstore bag. If I can be of any help to you personally with any of these specific products or any application tips that you might need some help with, please be sure to hit me up in the comments down below. I will always do my best to get back to every single one of you. And I would love it so much if you would subscribe to my channel and come follow me on Instagram as well. But other than that, just keep the fall video ideas that you want to see. Keep sending them my way. I'm reading through all of those, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching this one. Bye everyone.